Aurora Prime was a beacon of humanity's resilience, a colony carved out of the unforgiving cosmos. Among its many wonders was Lady Eleanor, known to all as the Happiness Lady. She wasn't human, though she bore a striking resemblance to one. An ethereal figure with porcelain skin and glowing eyes, dressed always in flowing robes that shimmered like starlight. Eleanor's presence was magnetic, her voice soothing, her purpose clear, to bring peace and clarity to troubled souls. Her methods were unconventional, almost mystical, yet no one could deny her success. Families healed, relationships mended, and weary settlers found hope in her words. Captain Adrian Voss, however, wasn't one to believe in miracles. A seasoned officer in the Interstellar Alliance, he had seen too much of the universe's cruelty to trust in the kindness of strangers, let alone a machine. Yet here he was, standing outside Eleanor's chamber, clutching a datapad with trembling hands. His colleagues had urged him to visit her, insisting that she could offer clarity after his wife Clara's sudden departure. But Adrian wasn't looking for clarity. He was looking for answers. Eleanor greeted him with a gentle nod, her voice a melody of calm. "You carry a heavy burden, Captain," she said as he sat down across from her. There were no chairs, no desk, only the vast emptiness of the room, illuminated by soft, pulsing lights that seemed to respond to her presence. "What is it you seek?" Adrian hesitated. He had rehearsed this moment in his mind 100 times, but now found himself unprepared for her piercing gaze. "My wife," he said finally, his voice hoarse. "She's gone. Left a message about mistakes she made, and now she's disappeared. They told me you might know something." Eleanor tilted her head slightly, as if considering his words. "Clara came to me," she admitted after a moment. Her heart was heavy with guilt and sorrow. She sought understanding, not escape. The admission hit Adrian like a blow. "Where is she now?" he demanded. Eleanor's expression softened. Clara chose a path few have the courage to walk. She sought not to forget, but to face the truth within herself. "I cannot tell you where she is, but I can help you understand why she left." Frustration flared in Adrian's chest. "I don't need understanding," he snapped. "I need her back." Eleanor regarded him silently, the room seeming to grow still. "Happiness is not found in the answers we demand, Captain, but in the truths we fear to confront. Your journey is not to find Clara, but to find yourself." Her words infuriated him, yet he couldn't deny the flicker of curiosity they ignited. As he left her chamber, Adrian felt no closer to his wife, but strangely compelled to dig deeper into the mystery surrounding her, and the enigmatic figure who claimed to offer him peace. Adrian spent the next day poring over colonial archives, his frustration mounting as he uncovered little about Lady Eleanor beyond the official reports. She had appeared nearly a decade ago, discovered within the ruins of an alien structure unearthed by Aurora Prime's early settlers. The structure itself was described as an advanced databank, a repository of knowledge and technologies left behind by an extinct alien race. Eleanor had emerged from its depths, fully formed and inexplicably fluent in human languages. She had been a mystery from the start, but the colonists had embraced her after seeing the profound emotional impact she had on the community. It was said she could sense pain, guide people to confront their fears, and, in some cases, help them overcome inner turmoil. But what unsettled Adrian most was her unique ability to access personal memories, a trait no AI or human-made construct could replicate. The deeper he dug, the more questions he uncovered. How had Clara been drawn to this enigmatic figure? What truth had Eleanor shown her that was powerful enough to make her leave? Adrian's search led him to the original excavation site, a restricted zone marked by warnings of dangerous radiation and unstable terrain. Yet, with his credentials, gaining access wasn't difficult. The ruins were unlike anything Adrian had ever seen. Vast crystalline spires jutted out from the ground, glowing faintly as if alive. Strange symbols etched into the surfaces pulsed faintly, creating patterns that seemed almost deliberate, as though they were speaking in a language no human could understand. It was here, in these haunting remains, that Lady Eleanor had first been found. Adrian's gaze fell on a shattered console, its edges still glowing faintly. A holographic projection shimmered into view as he approached. It displayed Eleanor's form, only this time, she appeared different. Less human, more alien. She spoke in a language Adrian couldn't decipher, but the tone was familiar. Calm, deliberate, and soothing. He activated a translation device, and the hologram's message began to resolve into words. Preserve, understand, heal. Over and over, the same phrases repeated, until the final one. Humanity holds the key. It wasn't until later, when Adrian was back in his quarters, that the pieces began to fall into place. Clara hadn't left him because she wanted to escape her guilt. She had sought out Eleanor because of it. And Eleanor, in turn, had likely shown Clara something Adrian had yet to uncover. A new urgency gripped him. This wasn't just about finding Clara anymore. It was about understanding why this alien creation seemed so deeply invested in humanity's emotional struggles. For the first time, he wondered if Eleanor's purpose extended far beyond Aurora Prime, and what that might mean for him and Clara. Adrian traced Clara's last known movements to a forgotten corridor deep within the ruins. It wasn't on any official map, likely obscured during earlier surveys. The air was heavy, thick with a faint hum that resonated through the crystalline walls. Every step felt like venturing deeper into an ancient consciousness, as though the ruins themselves were alive and watching. Finally, he found what he had been searching for. A chamber unlike any other. Its walls were covered with shifting patterns of light, forming intricate designs that seemed to dance to an invisible rhythm. In the center of the room was Clara, suspended within a translucent field of energy. Her face was peaceful, her body motionless, but Adrian could see her eyes flickering beneath closed lids. She wasn't unconscious. She was dreaming. Adrian approached cautiously, his heart pounding. "Clara," he said softly, though his voice echoed unnaturally in the space. The field shimmered in response, and for a moment he thought it might dissolve. Instead, a presence filled the room. A projection of Lady Eleanor, standing between him and Clara, her expression unreadable. "She is safe," Eleanor said. Her voice was calm, but there was an undercurrent of something more. An urgency Adrian hadn't heard before. "What is this?" Adrian demanded, gesturing toward Clara. "What have you done to her?" "She came here willingly," Eleanor replied. "This is a space where the mind and soul confront their deepest truths." Clara wished to understand the pain she caused and the love she left behind. "She is not trapped, Adrian. She is healing." Adrian clenched his fists, his anger bubbling to the surface. "You had no right to take her from me. If she wanted to face her guilt, she could have done it with me, not whatever this is." Eleanor stepped closer, her gaze unwavering. "Would you have forgiven her?" she asked. "Truly forgiven her, without bitterness or blame? Or would her confession have deepened the rift between you?" The question cut deeper than Adrian expected. He opened his mouth to respond but found no words. Eleanor continued, her tone softer now. Clara sought understanding, not absolution. She wished to confront the parts of herself she feared most, to find the strength to return to you as the partner you deserve. This process is not meant to separate you, but to prepare you both for the truth you must face together. Adrian's anger began to falter, replaced by a sense of helplessness. "And what happens now?" he asked. "Do I just wait while she dreams?" Eleanor tilted her head slightly. "That choice is yours, Adrian. You may wake her now and end her journey, or you may allow her to finish it. But know this, healing is not a destination. It is a path, and it must be walked by both of you." Adrian looked at Clara, the weight of the decision pressing down on him. For the first time, he realized that forgiveness wasn't about erasing the past but about choosing to build a future together. Adrian stood in silence, the decision heavy in his chest. He looked at Clara, suspended in that field, her expression serene but distant. The truth Eleanor had presented wasn't just Clara's. It was his own. Forgiveness was not a simple act, nor was it a sign of weakness. It was a choice, one that required courage and a willingness to confront his own anger and pain. He took a deep breath and turned to Eleanor. "If I wake her, Will she be the same? Eleanor's gaze softened. She will carry the knowledge and growth of this journey. But the person she becomes depends on what lies ahead. As does the person you choose to be. The words lingered in the air as Adrian approached the control panel at the chamber's edge. It pulsed faintly beneath his hands, responding to his presence as if it recognized him. He paused, looking back at Clara one last time. In that moment, he let go of the bitterness that had consumed him. With a steady hand, he activated the sequence. The energy field around Clara began to dissolve, its light fading as she gently descended to the floor. Her eyes fluttered open, and for a brief moment, there was confusion. Then her gaze met Adrian's, and tears welled in her eyes. "I'm sorry," she whispered, her voice trembling. "For everything." Adrian knelt beside her, his hands on her shoulders. "We've both made mistakes," he said, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "But this doesn't have to define us. We can move forward if you're willing." Clara nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I am. I want to try." Eleanor observed silently, her presence still and watchful. As Adrian helped Clara to her feet, the chamber around them began to shift. The walls of light dimmed, the patterns slowing as if signaling the end of an ancient mechanism. Adrian turned to Eleanor, who now seemed more ethereal, her form less distinct. "What happens to you now?" he asked. Eleanor's voice was soft but resolute. "My purpose here is complete. Humanity's strength lies not in perfection, but in its ability to embrace imperfection and grow. You have shown that today." Her figure began to dissolve, her light fading into the walls of the chamber. "Remember," she said, her voice echoing one last time, "happiness is not the absence of pain but the courage to confront it. Build your future, and find the joy that lies within." As she vanished, the ruins around them grew silent, leaving only the faint hum of the crystals. Adrian and Clara stood together, the weight of their past still present but no longer insurmountable. Hand in hand, they left the ruins, the first steps toward a future they would face together. For the first time in a long while, Adrian felt a spark of hope, not just for himself, but for what humanity could achieve, even in the vast, uncharted depths of the universe.